All right. So with that said, then I want to invite everyone to find themselves a comfortable seat and position. We are setting ourselves into the practice without hastily jumping into it just yet. We all know the importance of a right foundation, so we'll take the first few minutes to cultivate it. Now, what we'll be doing is to bring our attention, bring our awareness back to yourself. And one easy way to do so is just to take a deep breath, where the strength of the inhale that we bring up naturally bring our attention to it. And as we exhale, try to relax and let everything go with that exhale. We can do it a couple of times. Inhale to bring attention back. Exhale to release everything. And then what we'll do next is to then bring our attention to the top of our head by simply telling our mind to go there, to feel the top of your head. And what you want to do here is just to relax. Let go of your temple or of the crown of your head. Release the tension, and important thing here is to recognize the happiness, the gentle happiness that comes in as a replacement from the release of tension. We move down to our forehead together with our eyebrows to release the muscle there. And as the muscle tension are released, notice the pocket of happiness that arises from the disappearance of tension. We go down to our eye sockets and the areas around them. Move down to our nose, our cheeks, our ears, mouth, and take a wider look at our head and our face. Just release and relax. As we release the tension, once again notice the happiness that takes its place. This is going to be our bedding for the short meditation that we will have before the class. We move our attention down to our shoulders, from our neck to the shoulders, down to our arms, the both sides, trickling down to our hands, to the tips of our fingers. Shake them off, release them, and place our hand where it feels comfortable, where you feel like this is the place where I can just place it right there. Bring our attention to our chest, our back. Release those muscles. Then we gently move down to our lower back and our belly, and stopping at our waist. We will then take a zoom out a little bit and look at our entire upper body, from the top of our head to the waistline, and just relax. Notice the pockets of tension that remains. Release them, allowing the pockets of happiness to arise. This is how we'll slowly build our foundation up, a bedding for our practice. We'll then move down from our waist to our glutes and hips, to our thighs, our calves, our feet, to the tips of our toes. Provide your legs, your glutes, your feet a comfortable place to be in. Be content, be neutral to what we have for now, as we can always move around when we need to. Just like what we done with our upper body, we're gonna take a wider view on our lower body and take one closer look at some pockets of tension that might remain. And lastly, take a deep breath and bring our awareness to our entire body and rest our mind inside this wonderful mellow body that we have just relaxed. Imagine your body is now free from all heaviness. Imagine removing all your internal organs, your heart, your liver, your lungs, digestive tracts, kidney, all the things, making yourself feel hollow, like a bubble, light. Give yourself, your inner self, the space to breathe. What we are doing here is to allowing the mind to take away the heaviness that occupied our body, and naturally lightness fills the void. I feel light and nice. We can then start to place our attention with ourselves, with our body, using our body as the base. We can then bring our mind to our object that you desire, that you like, that you're used to, whatever that might be. Or you can even choose this feeling of relaxation and your body as an object if you like. Pay attention. Right now, your body or your object are expressing themselves, and you are witnessing those expressions because you're knowing, aware of how it feels, that the sensation of your object. And in this short session, you'll remain focused, but not heavily. Imagine just watching a play, a movie, or something that is important to you, important enough to watch it with respect. Give your object the attention it deserves without compromising on your own happiness and relaxation. Meditation is a rejuvenating activity, not a task that you have to fulfill. So relax, enjoy, and then bring attention to your object. Even if it wanders off, don't worry about it. We can always bring it back again and again. Be sure to still be aware of your object, okay? One technique that we can use, a simple one, is to remind ourselves to be mindful. Remind ourselves constantly and notice the change of sensation as you bring your attention back to yourself. And now that we have given time for our mind to clean itself, we can gently begin to slowly open up our eyes. All right. Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. um, so many different timeline, but I'm glad that no matter where you are still giving yourself the opportunity to join the class. Um, and I'm not sure how many new faces we have today, but I hope that this class will serve everyone as we'll be talking about meditation. So I think for today we can start off with a simple Q&A. Um, of course, all those who are new or old, if you have any question regarding mindfulness or meditation, then I'll give the floor to you, so that you ask. But if there's no question, then I um, will see if I have something to share. So if anyone want to ask, you can press the hand raise button on the bottom, and then I'll give the floor to you guys. Okay. So looks like there's no question. Then let me ask. If there's no question for me, then I think I'll have a question for you guys then. Um, so because there's plenty of new people in the class, I would like to ask. You can even type in the chat. Of how long have you been meditating for, and is it? That's one thing. And number one, how long have you been practicing meditation for? Number two, is it easy for you to meditate? And then, do you think you're confident enough to then tell other people how to meditate? A simple yes or no question for the last one. And the three questions I just asked is are what my teacher asked many participants in a retreat when he wanted to get a feel of the class. Because those questions are a telltale sign of where they are in their practice, how they are doing, and then are they doing it with the correct understanding or not. Mm. And number one is how long have you been practicing. That it is speaking how far, how long they have been incorporating this in their life, and speaks to the kind of like the strength and the motivation that they still have to keep on going. It speaks to the fact that the reason they might find some value in meditation. That's why they've been doing it for so long, or they are interested in practicing because of some benefit that they heard from someone. Number two, second question is it easy or difficult? This is something that is really, really telling when many people say it is not easy. In my experience, the reason that they said so is mostly come from misunderstanding of what meditation really is, which link to the third question of are you confident that you're able to then teach other people of how to meditate? Uh, the reason that that is a key question, and the third one is because if we are not able to teach other people, then it is fair to say that the quality that we are teaching ourselves is not up to par just yet. Mm. And so therefore, it then makes things difficult, and yeah, and might deteriorate the good motivation that people have as they continue for years in meditation. So for this class, I want to bring it back to uh, how the Buddha incorporate meditation as part of Buddhism. So Buddhism is not meditation, but meditation is a big part of Buddhism. Let's say like that. Oh, hi, Kanan. Yes, I've been of 8 years, and give me take really easy to meditate. But if there's more stress, then it's hard to meditate. On those days, I'm quite confident to teach. That's very, very good to hear. Thank you for answering too. That's very nice. So with that, then hopefully this uh 45 minutes will help elevate that a little bit now, so that it can be to help you too, because um because in times like those when there are enormous amount of stress, then the knowledge that we have need to be able to serve us in those situations too, meaning that it is now yet to be incomplete because there are situations that we cannot apply meditation to just yet. Why is that important? Well, for many, uh, meditation is a tool that they use to deal with stress. But once stress comes about, and like you said, enormous amount of it, this tool that we so rely on, we are not able to use it, and that's really, really something that need to be looked at. Mm, the oh hi, Liz. A year and a half ago, hyperactive, trying to find some time and space for myself to calm down and try to de-stress. Okay, I'm having hard time with meditation though. Very busy life. Okay. Oh, that's very nice. We have led some short meditation session too. And that's very, wow, that's very, very good. So thank you very much for answering. So I'm very happy for those answers. And hopefully that this 45 minutes will really help elevate that. So to continue from what I left off, meditation in Buddhism is a tool. It's a tool that the Buddha used to achieve what he want to achieve. A small background here, a minute or two before we dive deep into the topic itself. So what he did is that he wants to do two things for himself first, and being able to do so, he then teach other people how to do it the same way he did. And his goals are simple. For him, he just want to be free from all suffering. That's one, and to find a life that is not just good, not great, but amazing life. And the utmost of that I call enlightenment. And as was able to reach that point, he then looked back at the tools that he used to help him reach that point. And this is where meditation comes as an integral part of Buddhism, but not the entire Buddhism. And this is where we're going to talk about. Right? Mhm. And for those who are familiar with a bit of Buddhist scripture, meditation is a is is a key point under the way towards happiness, called the Noble Eightfold Path, where it said that there are right mindfulness while concentration. It's okay if you don't are not familiar. It's just for reference. And the reason is there is because it is the way that the Buddha structured how he taught meditation and how we should approach meditation too. So the relevant part, the relevant keyword that I want to bring up for this class is two things. Right mindfulness. So mindfulness, but there's the word right in front of it. Now right mindfulness and right concentration. Mm. And yeah. And so therefore these are two things that we are have to practice and have to then be to understand and see that in our own practice, what are we actually doing? Where's the mindfulness, where's the concentration part? So that things are clear. As an instructor, we have to be clear in what we're doing, and then so that we will then able to do it easily, and then help other people to it as well. So let's begin by mindfulness first. And this is, I think, um, a key topic that makes many people come to Buddhism, mindfulness, and it is then translate not simply to being aware, being aware of being aware of ourselves. Mm, and they are right, correct now. Because why? Well, being aware of ourselves is not something new. Being mindful is not something new. We all of us here have been at a point in our life where we have been scolded before by, let's say, our parents or someone else to be warned to be mindful. And as we are told to be mindful, we then gain kind of like awareness of ourselves, of what we're doing right now, what situation we're in. And I bring that up because I want to highlight the fact that mindfulness is not something new, but something that all of us know of what they are and have experienced them before too. And we was able to do it since a very young age without we realizing what we have done to gain mindfulness. This observation of how we grow up with mindfulness is the starting point of how the Buddha teach the monks how to meditate. And he then point to that and say, hey, mindfulness is not something new. We all have been there before. But what did we do to bring about mindfulness? Because we have to know exactly what we're doing first. If not, then how can we then teach other people how to be mindful if we ourselves don't know yet what is the thing that we did to be mindful? So I want to take this time to then state it clearly. But before we go on to that, is anyone following? If anything that is out of place, right? Okay, if everything good, then right, then I will continue, right? But if not, then please raise your hand, anytime, please, because it will really uh, help benefit the class too. And we're gonna then bring our attention back to back to the time where we are able to be mindful. Now, naturally, the Buddha said that to gain awareness of yourself, you have to do one crucial thing. One crucial thing that it is so natural to us that we don't even think about what we have done. But he said one crucial thing that is we have to order, to order or to tell our mind. To order to tell our mind to do what? To be aware of ourselves. In the past, we are told to be mindful. Uh, We are told to be mindful from other people. And because of that instruction, we follow through with that instructional command. And yep, we are mindful of ourselves. Now, even if I were to say to you guys right now, hey, you guys, be mindful, please, then you get awareness of yourself. Mm. But when it comes to our own practice, we have to be the one who then issue in command or the order. And that's why when I led the meditation just now, I said, hey, remind yourself. Remind yourself to be aware of yourself. Because that is instructing the mind to be aware. Yourself is the object that you want to be aware of. And because it is that instruction that you gave, the mind does it for you. And the result is that you are aware of yourself. And this simple concept, before we move on, I'm gonna then lead everyone through a simple practice to get the point that I'm trying to convey here. Because meditation and mindfulness and many things in Buddhism is not tangible, meaning we cannot touch it, but we have to experience it. And we will be on the same page if we go through this together. So I want to then want everyone to participate because we will learn by doing here to understand what exactly is I'm talking about and what did Buddha was talking about too. The exercise is to tell your mind what to do. uh, And I want you guys to follow the phrase that I will tell you guys to tell your mind and then observe the reaction. All right? Uh, So I'm going to tell you what to say or what you should tell yourself or the mind and observe the reaction. So the sentence is, I want to feel blank. So I want to feel is the thing that you tell yourself or the mind, and blank is an object or a something, a object that we're gonna tell the mind to be aware of. And the first one I want you guys to tell yourself is that I want to feel the sole of my feet. Tell yourself, like talking to yourself basically, I want to feel the sole of my feet and observe what happened. Uh, and we didn't, even without giving any effort, apart from telling the mind what to do, the sole of your feet that you weren't previously aware of now become known to you or aware to you. Just like that. Awareness of the sole of your feet is now complete. Okay. The next one, easy one. I want to feel the top of my head. And then do you notice that the top of your head is now for you to be aware of, even though the moment ago you weren't aware of this spot up here. We can be even more precise than that. Next, next exercise. Feel or be aware of my right ear. Now, this area that is your right ear is now hopefully aware to you, even though moments ago you weren't aware of it. Next one, okay, we're gonna go through a couple, just to really, really hone in the point. I want to feel my left, my left middle finger. Very precise, now very specific. But do you feel your left middle finger? Are you aware of your left middle finger or not? Okay, last one, nah? Last one. I want to feel the contact between the cushion and my butt. Basically, feel my butt or the contact of you and the floor or you with the cushion. And that sensation now become aware of you. And you see that, and you observe two things here. Is that number one, awareness of an object is easily gained by telling the mind to just be aware of it, without you having to push, to force, but just do and observe. Awareness of the object then is granted. Number two, this is the second key discovery is the fact that you will only know of that sensation if your mind is with it. Do we recognize that when we have our attention with the sole of our feet, we don't feel our right ear or our left middle finger, but we do feel the sole of our feet. We only feel our right ear or our left middle finger after only when we tell our mind to go there to feel that. And how does this then relate back to mindfulness? Nah? Some of you might still ask, well, you are told to be aware of yourself, no? Be aware of yourself, be mindful. And we default to bring our mind to ourselves. And you will know what you're doing, what you're holding, what activity that you're in, what movement, this and that. But those are from the comment of other people. We just follow through with those. But now that we're practicing ourselves, we have to be the one who issued the command. This is called mindfulness. How does it feel, everyone? Are you still okay? Still good? Yes, very good. Now, so the key point here is the keyword. Now, the keyword is ordering or telling the mind where to be. That's why you need to know what your object is, because you need to tell the mind where to be, what to be aware of. And that's what we're gonna do. And that's what we tell people to do. Be aware of your breath, be aware of your posture, your belly, your sensation, whatever those objects. I can be like 1,000 objects around the world, right? It can be so many techniques, but it lays on the basic foundation that you have to tell the mind where to be at, and just simply tell it to do so, and voila, awareness granted. It is as easy and as simple as that one, by telling or by ordering. This is one keyword. Now, now that we understood those, I will then, from this point, make meditation easy for everyone. Simply by telling you guys to be aware of your butt and the thing that you're touching, not the sensation, the contact of your butt and the cushion, for example. Tell your mind that I want to feel that, and be there for a moment. Together as a class, be there for a moment. Hopefully, you guys are still aware of your butt, right? Can I have thumbs up if you are still aware? If it works? Yes. All right. Now, what is the point that I want to prove just then? What you just did just now, being aware of your butt for a brief moment, that's what we call meditation or concentration. That is it. Yeah? And what is it that and what is the the meaning or the principle behind what I just said? How did I came to that conclusion, you may ask? Well, you have to understand what meditation or concentration really means. Concentration only comes when you're aware of the object first, and then as you prolong your awareness of the object, that is what we call concentration. Meaning concentration is just a prolonged mindfulness, that's all. That's it. Not talk about good feeling, bad feeling. Just being aware and continue to be aware, regardless of the time frame. I think where most people struggle with when they say it's difficult is the fact that they can't concentrate for too long. That's where the difficulty is. But that is not the point. Or rather, sorry, that is not where we should be looking at in the beginning. The Buddha states that in the Noble Eightfold Path that I brought up in the beginning, that hey, there are right mindfulness, right concentration. The reason it is in that order is because mindfulness comes first. Only then when we are mindful of our breath or our body, then we can then slowly extend that mindfulness to make it concentration. Mindful 1 second, 2 second, 3 second, so on and so forth. And that's it. Nowhere in Buddhism that is said that you have to feel good or feel bad. There's no way. There's no written one. And there's Buddha never taught like that. He taught people very basic. And just like I'm teaching you right now, just say, hey, order your mind to be aware. And then continue to be aware of that object over time. That's all. But just like any other sport, just like any other journey or study that we go through, to begin with, it is difficult to extend or to be the best at it. Now, we'll find that in reality, in our practice, when we are aware of something and we kind of focus a bit on it, now after a few seconds, then our mind wanders off. And then after it wanders off and we realize that it goes off, then we just bring it back to your object. Isn't that right? Uh, This is the same basic experience that every new meditators go through. You guys included, me included too. And because our goal is to meditate or to remain concentrated, being fully aware that we cannot concentrate for long, then how should we go about creating a concentration then? And the Buddha gave a very simple answer. He said, well, just tell the mind frequently then. Right? When you tell the mind to be aware of your breath, you will hold that concentration naturally for a few seconds. But if you don't tell it again, then the mind will go somewhere else. Just like a kid who is so naughty that you tell them to sit down, and they might sit down for like just like you said, but in no time they would run off to chase some butterfly somewhere again, and then we have to call it back. And the way to fix that behavior is just to tell the kid to sit down and sit down and sit down. Tell the kid when the kid is about to get up to say, hey, sit down, don't go anywhere yet. And we just look at the kid. And the kid will then, be uncomfortable and want to move around. When we see the sign, we say, hey, sit down. The reason to remind the kid in this example here is we know that if we don't do so, the kid will surely run off. And to remind the kid, sit down, sit down. And this is the same way that we will then practice with our mind too. We tell our mind to feel the breath or know, be aware of the breath. And you breathe in and out, in and out. Before long, before your mind goes off, you tell the mind again, hey, a reminder here, a check in here, be aware. And you will prolong it a little bit. Begin to remind again and again and again. Is it clear to everyone, this point about concentration? Okay. I then want to bring a real life example here, right? Is it something new? Of course not. Because have you or have any of us been in a situation where we had to focus on something important? And knowing our lack of focus, our incapability to focus for long, what do? We just had ourselves say, hey, focus and focus. Especially when things are really, really important and crucial, you tell yourself to be focused until. Now, this phenomena is not new. Now, but we don't realize what we are doing here. But the Buddha did. The Buddha see that this is a fundamental natural thing of human and of being, that they don't realize what they're doing. By bringing those real life example up is to tell them, hey, do what you are already able to do, but tell them what exactly they are doing so that they can actually do it. Right? We have been there before, right? To have to remind ourselves to be so focused, to focus, also concentrate. Yeah. Yeah. And so now that we know this easy key point, easy way to meditate, then our practice should be a lot easier. The Buddha is saying that this is how he taught the monks. By the way, I will tell you the full quote. If you want to look it up, it is in the Satipatthana Sutra, right? But I'll tell you the full quote here. It said that the Buddha said, monks, order to know. He said, order to know clearly in your mind and your body. Order to know, meaning to be aware of. Order is to tell the mind to know, to be aware of. Clearly means what is it that you're aware of your mind and your body. These are the object. Anything related to the mind and anything that related to the body, to be aware of it clearly. That's the first half. The second half of the quote, he said, the purpose, the second half is to eliminate, to eradicate entirely of desire and aversion of the world. Meaning, when we are telling the mind to be aware of our object, the purpose is to eradicate all desire, meaning liking, and aversion, disliking of the world, meaning everything. Now, of the world here, meaning everything. So even when we have some unpleasant experience, that experience is not the point. The point is just to be aware of the experience with neutrality, with equanimity, without any liking or disliking, without any satisfaction or dissatisfaction. This is the purpose. This entire quote, as easy as that. The Buddha never taught feel happy, feel this and that, feel life, feel many experience that you might have heard before. Because he said that those, if you practice like that, those are just a byproduct. Those are just the result you gain from it. But it's not something that you should strive for. It just so happened that it is a byproduct. Just like when you go to work, you go to work every day. Eventually, by the end of the month, you in your bank account, now someone owning the money, right? It's a byproduct of working. Or just by running around every day, the byproduct is a healthy body, a slim body, for example. No, just a byproduct. Same with all these things that people like in meditation too. That's calmness, happiness, stress-free are all just a byproduct of doing what? Of doing the basic thing that Buddha taught. To order or to tell the mind to know or be aware of. And the second point, clearly means you have to tell what it needs to be aware of. These are the three key points that I want you guys to remember. And why is it that the Buddha wants you to be aware of? Mind and body. It can be anything. It can be your breath, can be your body, can be the good feeling, can be mantra, can be visual object. Now, whatever it is that you feel happy about, you like it. Because every technique produces the same result anyway. Because they all follow the correct step that Buddha taught. That's it. Yeah. So now that we understand this, then I want to then bring back to address what Hanan and what Liz share in the group. Hanan said that it's easy, but when there's tremendous amount of stress, it's a bit difficult. For me, now when I hear this, I conclude that it's difficult. Maybe because the mind is too jumping or there's no peace, there's no happiness. Where can I concentrate? Where many people associate meditation to the result of meditation. Meditation is something nice and light, but if it's not something like that, then it's not meditation. So to help Kanan meditate even when he's feeling similar or stressed, what we have to do is to then tell the mind that hey, right now we are stressed, and just be aware, be aware. That's it. What we want is the three keywords that the Buddha taught. Tell the mind or order the mind to know or to be aware clearly, meaning what we want to be aware of. That's it. Relating to body and mind, anything up to you, good or bad thing doesn't matter, for the purpose of eradicating desire and aversion of the world. Meaning to go about it with equanimity, and that's it. The topic about stress or any about a feeling that is unpleasant, the Buddha really um highlight that for the monk, and he said that suffering is something that we all have to face every day, regardless mental suffering or physical suffering. Why don't we make a good use of it by seeing the opportunity inside the crisis? And what he found is that suffering is a very good tool to meditate with, because when suffering comes up, we are very aware of that. Now we are very aware that it is that we have to endure it. We are very aware that it's have to endure and difficult to endure, because meditation is all about being aware clearly of an object. Suffering is one of the best tools for advanced meditator. They love it because it is so effortless for them. Now, as someone who practice equanimity, meaning neutral toward what they perceive, they have no judgment toward what the object is, but they see the benefit in everything, even in a painful way, even when they're suffering. So for yes, yes, no, correct. Now this is where the Buddha had to go further. Before I go to this, I want to read what Kanan said. I'm gonna comment on that a little bit. I agree that suffering is a good tool to be aware, but it's painful. Yes, this is why the Buddha had to teach. Uh, but are we aware of what's happening when we are aware of the pain? And this is where we want to get a bit deeper into meditation, into the property of meditation. The Buddha said that mindfulness or meditation, or sorry, awareness is one of the most important tool under Buddhism. The thing that can provide you with uncountable benefit, mindfulness. And one of the things that it can help you with is to deal with suffering. That's why the first noble truth under Buddhism, the Buddha stated clearly that suffering is there only for us just to know or just to be aware of. No, suffering exists. That's it, just to be aware of it. Because when you're aware of the suffering, the mind is able to then deal with that suffering. And it will then over time it will get better and better, and as we pay attention to it. We can see this with what? We can see this with those who are aware that they're angry. Now, in the past, when they don't practice mindfulness, when things erupt inside of them, they go kaboom, and they shout and everything. But after maybe a a mindfulness practice, maybe like from yoga or from whatever it is that they find their practice from, they find that when anger comes up, it's not easy to read anger. You want to you want to do stuff with it, but by being aware of the anger, one can control it and just hold on for a few minutes. Nah? They hold on to it. They hold on to it, meaning being aware of it neutrally. And over time, they say, "Whoo, whoo." Like, it calm down. It calm down. It become more and more manageable. And finally, after a few minutes, it goes away. I need to open the lights one moment. That is not only that's one of the benefit of using pain. The second benefit the Buddha taught is that when we are aware of suffering, we gain something called thick skin or taba in Pali. Thick skin is something very important. The more we have, the less we feel pain. The more we have, the more we can endure. Uh, Imagine someone with thick skin. You, no matter how much bad things are said to them, some people they don't even hear it. It doesn't even touch them because their skin is so thick that that is a barrier. They say a barrier to protect you against pain and suffering. Even if it gets through them, they can endure for a very long time because their skin are very thick. The Buddha said, thick skin will help you fight against not suffering but agony. Agony is something above pain. Pain you can endure, but agony you can no longer endure. You will have to do something about it. No longer have to endure. But to get to agony, you have to deplete the thick skin first. That's why having thick skin, from knowing the pain, being aware of the pain, helps you to go about life easier, and you will feel like, oh, pain is nothing. Nah, I can deal with pain because I have thick skin. I can deal with pain because I know that when pain come up, I can be aware of it, and my mind can deal with it. That's why there's a meditation practice based on suffering. Be aware of suffering. That's it. It's an advanced technique used only when we have no other option. When we can't find happiness, we can't find peace, we can't find anything. No matter how much we move our body around, there is pain. The Buddha said, at this point, just use pain, and the mind will take care of itself. So this is the benefit of using suffering or pain. Um, Before, okay, next one is to Liz. Liz, she's very hyperactive, but try to calm down and de-stress, focus on work. Um, Hard time is busy, and then helping other people. So this one, I see 2 points here. All right. So the first point I would like to address is de-stressing. Mm. When same with Kanan, is that to de-stress, we had to bring our attention back to ourselves first. And then, only then, does the healing process begin. Of course, the stress doesn't immediately disappear, right? But just bring the mind back and be neutral about it. Meaning, don't go into the story, don't go into the thought, just be with yourself. Over time, as you breathe in and out, for some reason, the stress does go away. And all you did was just aware of the stress. All you did was just be breathing, that's all. That is because the mind have a mechanism inside that deals with this stuff. Now, our job is just to be aware. Now, it is a tool that the Buddha discovered and told people how to use them. And he told them how to use it, just like how I did today. Just order or tell the mind to know or be aware of, clearly, meaning what you want to fix or what you want to be aware of. That's it. And over time, whew, and the stress goes down, goes down. It requires time though, not to get the system running, but it will get there. And you have proven it many times before, as evident by meditating for a year and a half, and you know, also advocating for your friends too. That's very nice. The second one is having a hard time finding time to meditate because of very busy life. Well, let's now that we know that meditation is not all about sitting down to meditate, but rather the essence of it begins with mindfulness first. This is where you can then, or we can then, together practice mindfulness in in place of in time where we have not much time. Easily just by telling the mind to be aware. Many people use their breath as their go-to. Breathe in and out, in and out. What I want to do, or what my teacher taught me to do, is very easy. He told me that, you know, Humans only have four positions in their life: sitting, standing, walking, and laying down. So therefore, if you can be aware while you're sitting, aware while you're walking, aware while you're standing, and aware while you're laying down, then you can be aware 24/7. And that's wow, that's very easy. But the teacher of my teacher put it simpler. He said that, you know, you should be aware only 2 times per day. And his student asked him, so when is that? He said, well, first is when you have your eyes open, and the second is when you have your eyes closed. Very, very easy, right? And the secret here is just to tell the mind to be aware. So for this, now that life is busy, the practice that we should all be doing, should all cultivate, is to practice to order or to tell, or to remind yourself in layman's term, remind yourself to be aware of an object, whatever it might be for you. Let's to make it easy, right? Make it easy, make it simple. And now, when you practice that, and you finally have time out of your day to meditate, what will happen? Well, because you've been practicing throughout the day, when you close your eyes, it's a lot easier, as the mind help you deal with stress throughout the day already while being mindful. As you close down your eyes, things are not that hectic anymore. You won't have to go through 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes of just, enduring all those crazy stuff. No longer. Uh, from 20 minutes, we'll cut down to 15 to 10 to 5 to non-existent as you practice this. That's one. The second benefit, Alice, is that because when you concentrate, mindfulness is a foundation of it. So the technique or the practice of reminding yourself throughout the day will then come in handy, because it'll elevate your meditation even further, as your mind no longer have any time to wander around anymore, because you're always there reminding to be with yourself, be with your object. So this how now we can incorporate meditation into our life. And the easy thing, just like wet hot S3, order or to tell the mind to know or be aware. And what is it that you want to be aware of? Clearly. And it starts from mindfulness, then we translate to concentration. And that's it. All right. Be aware of your mind, your body, without any desire and aversion. And then things will be easy. Does that help? I hope anyone okay with that? Hope that's clear enough, easy enough.